Hey, what's going on, Guardians? My name is the Black Link, and the season of the Drifter is live. Gambit Prime, The Reckoning, and much more are all active in the game right now. Meaning there's plenty of activities for you to get to, and even some brand new exotics for you to chase after. And so, in this video, we're going to be covering some of the brand new exotics that have presented themselves within the season of the Drifter. This includes both some new weapons as well as some new exotic armor, some of which we had no idea were coming today. And we'll be going through virtually all of that right here. Let's go ahead and dive on in. So, first things first, we have a brand new exotic kinetic linear fusion rifle, Arbalest. And oh boy, what a way to start this out. We finally got an actual railgun in Destiny 2. And surprise, it's the weapon we got to see a little bit of during the Vidoc. The Arbalest comes with the ability Compounding Force, fires slugs that cause massive damage to elemental shields of enemy combatants. That's right, this thing's kind of going to perform a bit like the Chaperone, whereas that weapon fires a single slug. This is going to do the same, but even though it's a kinetic weapon, it's going to deal massive damage to enemy shields. This is definitely something unique to Destiny. What I'm really liking here is the fact that it's a kinetic weapon that's good against shields, but also might be good against shields of all types. Usually you have to try to match up elements to take down shields. Looks like that might not be the case with the Arbalest. Certainly a very exciting prospect there. It also comes with Extended Barrel, Projection Fuse, and Disruption Break, where breaking an enemy shield with this weapon makes them more vulnerable to kinetic damage for a brief period. Usually you see this on energy weapons where you pop a shield and then you're supposed to swap back to a kinetic to deal bonus damage. You won't have to swap at all with the Arbalest. You just blow up that shield with one shot, then you just charge it up again and hit the enemy with another shot with bonus damage, which is a fantastic benefit for the Arbalest. Linear Fusions also just got a bit of a damage buff in PvE, although they did have their aim assist knocked down a bit, so it might be a little bit harder to aim. Lastly, it's got composite stock for a little bit of extra stability. And there we go, that's it for the Arbalest, probably one of the most exciting new exotics we've gotten in the season of the Drifter. Next up, of course, is the Thorn. We know this is going to be dropping in a quest that's starting next week on March 12th. And thanks to updates to the Destiny database, we now know the perks that are going to be dropping on this mighty weapon of old. As usual, you can go check out light.gg to see a lot of the new stuff that's been added into this patch, including the Thorn and the abilities that are going to be dropping with this weapon. First up, it's got the Mark of the Devourer, where rounds pierce targets and deal damage over time. Kills with this weapon will leave behind remnants. Remnants I do believe we got to see in the Vidoc very quickly. The hunter was getting kills with Thorn, and it seemed like green orbs were popping out of its victims and floating back into the player. I'm assuming those are the remnants that they're talking about here. But moving on, it's also got an ability titled Soul Devourer. Absorbing a remnant strengthens Mark of the Devourer and partially refills the magazine, which seemingly creates a massive 1-2 punch for the Thorn here. It's got the classic damage over time with the Mark of the Devourer, but it seems like you can power that up further by securing kills and absorbing those remnants. It's kind of a funny mixture. It's like they're taking the year 2 and 3 nerfed version of Thorn with the weaker dots and then mixing it in possibly with the stronger dots we had back in year 1 of Destiny 1 after you've secured some remnant kills. But also, of course, adding in the other benefit of partially refilling the magazine anytime you get a remnant kill. This seems like an incredibly powerful stack of abilities for the Thorn, and I cannot wait to get my hands on it in the future. Now, additionally, we can also see some of the stats that are currently available for Thorn in the database. Now, it is important to note that these are subject to change. We might remember with the last word, in the database, it was listed as a 180 RPM hand cannon. Of course, when it came out, we found out it was much faster than that. So any of these stats are, of course, subject to change, but we see it has an impact apparently of 79, 40 for its range, 59 for its stability, 68 for handling, 46 for reload speed, an aim assist factor of 85, 100 for the recoil direction, and seemingly fires at 150 rounds per minute, virtually equal to where it was back in Destiny 1. And we also see that the database currently has Thorn sitting with an 11-round magazine. Not too bad at all for an old classic. If all this is true, Thorn has been hitting the gym and is looking pretty darn good for its release with the quest next week. And I cannot wait to get my hands back on it after all this time. Oh yes, it's going to be fun. But anyways, let's move on to some of the new exotic armor we got here in Season 6. And it's actually pretty simple. Each of the 3 main classes has got some new gear to sport, all virtually gauntlets by the way. But with better perks than the Aeon Cult stuff, I kind of promise you. First up for Warlocks, we've got the exotic gauntlets, the Getaway Artist. These come with the special ability Dynamic Duo. Hold your grenade button to convert your arc grenade into a supercharged Arc Soul. The Arc Soul functions as an autonomous turret. You guys remember how Arc Soul works? It's a Stormcaller perk where you get kind of like a little AI buddy that follows you around and fires at things. It looks like you'll be able to summon one of those by converting your grenade into it, which is fantastic, especially if this can be utilized on stuff like the Chaos Reach tree. Definitely an interesting exotic ability. Next up for Titans, we've got the exotic gauntlets Stronghold, which probably comes with one of my favorite new abilities yet. It's titled Clenched Fist. Guarding with sword increases movement speed and does not drain ammo. Shots blocked immediately after guarding will heal you. This is huge. What a massive benefit for swordplay out there in Destiny 2. With this ability, basically, if you time yourself right, if you treat yourself like a Jedi, you can time your guard so that you activate it right before a shot hits you. And doing so will grant you some health back while also not costing you any sword ammo. I can see this being a ton of fun to use and abuse in PvP, where half the time the only real way to make any sort of use of a sword is to immediately just hold the guard button as you approach an enemy and watch as they waste all their shots on you. With this waiving the ammo cost of guarding, I could see some really interesting plays being set up for swords like the Black Talon and the Worldline Zero in PvP. And of course the healing is just going to be icing on top of the cake. I cannot wait to get my hands on these gauntlets so I can try them out myself. Then finally for hunters, we've got the exotic gauntlets, the Liar's Handshake. These come with the ability Cross Counter. Using your arc melee ability or being hit by a melee attack will allow you to follow up with an extremely powerful melee counterpunch that will also heal you. Which sounds like a fantastic mix for the Arcstrider subclass. Or if some of those other meme loadouts work with like the Striker's Sure Hand being able to pick up bonuses from melee abilities, I could see this possibly working with that to create incredibly powerful no ammo one-shots. If you mix it with like Surrounded and the Surrounded mod, there could be some pretty interesting combinations that come out of this. So I really can't wait to see how the meta surrounding each of these pieces of armor really kind of evolves around the utilization of some of these perks. They seem like they could be incredibly powerful. And I know one thing's for certain, there should definitely be some fun times ahead. But alright Guardians, that is it for this video. We just wanted to put a quick spotlight on some of the new exotics that have shown up in-game alongside patch update 2.2.0, of course bringing us the Season of the Drifter. But anyways, there they are, and those are my thoughts. Be sure to leave me yours down in the comment section below. How do you feel about some of these new exotic armor pieces? Can you think of any great combinations you can utilize them with? Be sure to let us know. And if you enjoyed the video, feel free to drop a like, make sure you subscribe and hit that notification bell to stay up to date with all the latest stuff we're putting out. This week is going to be chock full of news as we work our way through the Season of the Drifter. So make sure you're staying tuned in. But alright, it's going to be it for this one, Guardians. Thank you all so much for watching. And as always, I am the Black Link. You Guardians, stay frosty.